In this episode, we react to the F1 movie trailer, give our thoughts on the upcoming season of Drive to Survive, that's season 7. And there are potentially big changes coming to the race direction in 2025 if you believe Mohammed Ben Sulayem, which I probably would. All coming up on this episode. Let's roll that intro right now. If he continues this way, he's going to be one of the greats.
Today we saw something amazing.
This is Formula One. This is the sport we love. Hello everyone, how's it going? Look, the F1 movie trailer has come out, but we actually have some sad news to talk about first of all. F1 has been in touch, and they have shut us down. I'm not joking. We're not allowed to use the name F1 Briefings anymore. That is a thing that F1 is doing across the board. I'm sure you've seen a load of podcasts, a load of YouTube channels, websites change their name. Formula Uno, they had a huge rebrand, and I'm assuming it's because of this reason. F1 want to own the name F1, which is completely fine. Completely fine. So we will be changing name. Again. We have come up with the name of all names. And then we chose this one instead. We're going to be called Race for the Win because we are analysing how do people race for the win. And it doesn't have to just be about racing. We're going to talk to industry leaders about how they get ahead in the competition. That is what this podcast is going to be all about. No longer will we just be kind of chatting with each other. I mean, we will be, because that's what we love to do. But we're going to be doing interviews with some of the most interesting people from the motorsport world. We're not just going to be F1 anymore.
No.
Because if you didn't know, we run motorsports, all of motorsports apart from NASCAR, on Sports Illustrated. Mm-hmm. All of motorsports, including NASCAR, on Newsweek.com. And soon to be something else, which I can't say right now. But there's lots of cool stuff coming up. But remember the name, Race for the Win. Race for the Win. But this is what's going down first of all. The F1 movie trailer has been released, and it was short, wasn't it?
I was so excited. Like there was obviously the hype. We all love that. Where F1 did a little teaser on Twitter, and we were like, okay, we're so ready for this. We had the teaser trailer last year, and it ended up being longer than the actual trailer that was released yesterday.
Seriously.
But it was still exciting. I'm really excited for it. I'm very intrigued. Very, very intrigued.
I'm intrigued as well. Look, we talked to, I was going to say Idris Elba, Damson Idris, last year, and such a lovely guy, by the way. Such a lovely guy. And he's playing the young racing driver who's, I can't remember the character's name. Do we know? Joshua Pierce. That's his name in the film. He's playing Joshua Pierce alongside Brad Pitt. And like there's this excitement, isn't there? Because F1 has been doing so much to push it. They allowed the filming crew into a Grand Prix. They actually had to sign up as an 11th team, which is exciting. Like I don't think
history record.
Yeah, like F1 allowing an 11th team. Who thought that would be a thing?
Well, in this current era, yeah.
Yeah, and welcome, Cadillac. Good times ahead. But look, it's huge, and there's been an estimated budget of 300 million. Now, I asked Damson about this, and he was like, "Can't tell you a thing, buddy. Those are rumors, and I can't comment." So, look, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But they partnered with Mercedes to create the car. There's a lot of work going into this. Lewis Hamilton is a producer on it. Other notable names, by the way. The producer, Jerry Bruckheimer from Top Gun Maverick and Pirates of the Caribbean. Did you know that?
No.
He did Pirates of the Caribbean. And it's directed by Joseph Kosinski, who again did Top Gun Maverick. Huge names. And, you know, Top Gun was known for its physical effects. You know, they were actually in the planes when they were doing all the flying and stuff. It's going to be exactly the same for the F1 movie. And we got to see a little bit of that in the trailer, didn't we? We got to see the cameras on the cars. It looks great.
It does look really, really good. And it's slightly jarring seeing it, you know, being surrounded by all the actual F1 cars and the F1 drivers. There's something where you're like, oh, this feels really wrong, but it is making it more exciting. And I love how all the teams are like, oh, we're actors now. This is really exciting.
Yeah, you can see them in the back and they're kind of like, they don't want to look at the cameras. But like,
And then Gunther pops out. He was like, hello.
this is going to be, I think it's going to be a great film. There's a lot of hype.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I'm worried about. There's a lot of hype from the film producers. And like, the marketing, like they've done a great job. Everyone is excited and they're getting free promo because every time they're at a race, hundreds of thousands of people see it happening. We saw Vegas, Brad Pitt fainting.
I know, I'm so intrigued about that.
I'm interested to see why he faints.
Because at the time, that got quite a bit of hate. Everyone was like, oh my gosh, like, why is he fainting? And then I think it was Kaczynski who said it. He was like, well, like, wait until you know the context. Like, you can't judge it yet, which is a fair point. But still, I mean, it was a believable feint. I was impressed.
Yeah, this Brad guy, I think he has a future in acting, honestly. There was, I can't remember what race it was. Was it Singapore where Lance Stroll like had to kind of force himself into the ambulance? That's the one.
That was
Was it
Qatar 2023, wasn't it?
The memory on you.
When everyone was passing
Everyone was
out
dying.
and it was the heat.
Yeah. Was that
it
2023? Oh, it was a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he had to like lift himself up out of the car, which like is hard anyway. Let's face it.
Can't even
get
lift
those
myself.
dips in.
Yeah.
Can't even lift yourself.
Emotionally and physically.
Join the club. But he had to like force himself to kind of like, he put himself in the ambulance, didn't he? That's the only kind of recent example I can think of
maybe
that
that's
happening.
It.
Maybe I can't remember what. Oh, it was Vegas, wasn't he? Where he fainted. It was Vegas. Brad Pitt.
Brad Pitt. Yeah.
So,
you're
sorry.
confusing me now,
Yeah. No, it was. I'm just like, it's cold in Vegas. It's not going to be heat exhaustion. Anyway. Yeah, it looks great. I'm really excited for it. Let's tell you a few more bits about it. We know it follows the Apex GP team, one of the worst names they could have come up with. I'm sorry. It doesn't sound great.
It doesn't really fit in with the other team names. Like, they need a few more sponsors in there.
Yes, that's right. Yeah, well, they do have sponsors. IWC is a huge sponsor.
Yeah, but like,
I know, and like as a title sponsor, I know, but anyway, Brad Pitt, he plays Sonny Hayes. He's the retired F1 driver coming back to mentor Joshua Pierce, and yeah, Hamilton is a huge part of it. So we're hoping that it's going to be a little more realistic than a lot of the Fast and Furious films, basically. Count the gear changes. F1 cars aren't manual. I don't know. Count the gear changes. And yeah, so they've been filming. How long have they been filming for now? For so long.
Well, there was delays, wasn't there, because of the strikes?
That's right.
2 seasons worth of.
Yeah, I think it's 2 seasons.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. I think it could go 2 ways, couldn't it? It's either going to be amazing or it's going to be so bad. But look, they've spent a lot of money on it, apparently. So I wish them the best. I think it's going to be cool. And
I'm feeling positive.
It's kind of like Drive to Survive as well, isn't it?
Yes.
Like, hopefully it pulls more people into the sport. That's only a good thing. Because, I mean, if you look at, like, NASCAR, like, that's failing. They need... And they have a Drive to Survive, don't they? NASCAR
do,
Full
but
Speed
they've
or
only,
something.
Is it...
One season.
They're about to do a second, maybe?
Yeah. And, like, the sponsors are hiding. Like, they are literally running away. So F1's in a really good place right now, regardless of what happens with the film. A little bit of trivia for you. We were talking about sponsors. Tommy Hilfiger is going to be a huge sponsor within the film, and MSC Cruises.
Nice.
Yeah, there you go. Oh, and Hans Zimmer did the score.
Yes.
That is going to be amazing. We all know Hans Zimmer's an absolute badass. Moving on, though, probably the bigger news coming up is Drive to Survive. We are so close to Drive to Survive coming out. It is season 7, which is huge. I mean, who would have thought a series about Formula One would go on for 7 seasons? That's almost as many as Friends.
Oh my God.
You
just blew my mind.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. I always think as well, it's so funny. I'm just going to move on from that. Otherwise, if I dwell, I'll...
Remember the last episode and it will be sad.
Oh, no. Okay, let's not go there. It's a Monday. I always think it's so funny that, and I'm included in this, there's so much excitement for the start of Drive to Survive and for it to be released. But we literally lived that season last year. We know exactly what's going to happen.
Yeah, but how is Drive to Survive going to interpret what's going to happen?
Yeah.
That is the question.
I love reliving that just before the season starts this year.
So do I, but it's late this year. So the release date is March 7th, which is about a week later than we'd usually get it.
Yeah, it's usually just after pre-season testing.
Which I am so excited for, by the way. 24 races. Who would have thought we'd be missing F1 after such a long season?
And be excited for pre-season testing. I mean, not a lot actually happens.
Oh, and we take nothing from it. Like,
well,
really.
A little bit here and there, but...
Yeah, but like for the most part, like there are too many variables to really get an understanding of who's going to be fastest.
Do you remember when everyone... Oh, when was it? 2022. Everyone was like,
that was a year.
Mercedes is sandbagging.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, how we were wrong.
Yeah, George looking at the car going, nah, looks fast.
Yeah. And Vettel's like, looks like drop dough.
See, that is why Drive to Survive is good, because we get those little comments that are very memorable. That's the thing, isn't it? They pick out the kind of, like, they know what to look for.
Yeah.
They can find the viral parts of the season, and then they skew it.
They just zhuzh it a little.
They zhuzh it.
I mean... You have to take it all with a pinch of salt. It's all based on true events, but they will have a bit of creative license going on there. A little bit of, I'm going to take this moment from this race and make it out like it's the British Grand Prix when it's not. You know, that happens. But also, if it was just a straight documentary, you may as well just watch a race.
Yes, no, you're entirely right.
Yeah,
I would like to see a bit more of the behind the scenes and like trust that that's what actually happened. But oh well, it's successful. That is all people care about.
And it's going to be interesting this year as well, because isn't this the first season where last year F1 clamped down on the teams doing their own individual behind the scenes footage? Like they couldn't release as much.
Oh, yeah. How do you remember this?
I actually don't know.
That's crazy. Yes, you're right.
But so yeah, it should be interesting.
That's going to be very interesting. We might see quite a lot then through this series.
I'm so excited.
Talking of what we're going to see, let's have a chat. Let's analyze in our inner mind the last season, because it's going to be covering the 2024 season. And what are they going to pick out? And obviously, the main thing is going to be Hamilton moving to Ferrari.
Oh yeah,
that is going to be huge, because it was obviously huge news, but that is going to be huge for Drive to Survive. How are they going to portray that though? Like, are they going to kind of increase the rivalry between Mercedes and Hamilton? There's going to be clashes, aren't there? Like, they're going to infer that there were clashes, because I almost think that there maybe was a few things going on behind the scenes that we don't know about.
Maybe a little bit. I think you're right. I think it will obviously start with the frantic kind of Mercedes headquarters because they announced it before Toto was ready for it to get out there, wasn't? So that I think will be quite. I wonder if they remade that or if it's actual, because they're like, don't do anything. We're getting on a plane with the cameras. Just don't say anything.
You need lighting, Toto. You need lighting.
Where's the ring light, please? But
where's the Nürburgring light?
F1 joke. But yeah, I think they'll have that bit where it's going to be like pure chaos and everyone will be crying in Mercedes and they'll be like, what the hell is going on? Then I think they'll do a bit of headbutting throughout the season. But then you know that they'll cover Abu Dhabi and it's going to be really emotional. Oh, yeah. And it'll have Bono being like, it's hammer time. And then everyone's going to cry and I'm probably going to cry because I'm a really emotional person. And then, yeah.
Yeah, actually, they're going to cover the bit. I went
through a journey there. Wow.
You did. Yeah, I feel it. They're going to cover the bit that we didn't actually see in the live broadcast. Bono saying hammer time.
Yeah.
That was crazy, wasn't it?
I know.
How could F1 not give us that?
Yeah. The whole way, everyone was like, say it. Say it.
Yeah, like I know if you're...
And sorry, it just popped into my head. The British Grand Prix.
Oh, yeah, of course.
He won.
Yeah, of course.
So
that's going to be a huge part of Drive to Survive. Yeah. No, definitely. That's going to be interesting. The other interesting thing is obviously the allegations surrounding Red Bull's Christian Horner. Whether they're actually going to do much on that, we don't know, because no one knows what happened.
Yeah.
There's a lot of allegations, and that's all this is.
I
Covering our own
also
backseat.
feel like because he, the investigation played its course and he was like all the allegations were dropped. I think they
might just stay away.
What's the point of making a thing out of it?
Mm.
I don't know. What they might touch on is the kind of repercussions of that investigation, the alleged power struggle.
That is
what is happening
that's
here.
hand signal for power struggle.
Really?
Yes, clash.
Wow.
Yep.
I liked it.
Thank you.
But yeah, I think they're more likely going to do that, and then obviously Nui leaving.
Yeah.
I wonder if they'll make that a bit more dramatic.
I think they are going to make it dramatic.
They're going to make everything a bit more dramatic.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Red Bull lost a lot of people. Jonathan Wheatley.
Yeah.
A lot of people kind of left, and Red Bull was because they're going to do this thing, aren't they? Where people are leaving, and then oh no, Max is losing races now,
Yeah.
and we know it doesn't mean anything because he won the championship, and Red Bull is still Red Bull, and they have a brilliant team regardless.
Yeah, it's a team sport.
Exactly. But they're definitely going to make a thing of that. That's going to be quite interesting to see. And I am interested how they go about the Horner stuff.
I think they'll be pretty
They will be
tiptoey.
safe. They will be safe. Yeah. Obviously, in the notes, McLaren's win.
Woo!
Huge part of the season. But I think more so is they're going to focus on the papaya rules, the so-called papaya rules. Lando and Oscar again clashing.
Really? Are you trying to make this a thing?
I am making it a thing.
Okay.
It is my thing. They are, they're going to kind of really there was who was it? God, this was years ago. Max and Ricardo. Who did they have? I think it was Max and Ricardo that was.
Oh, what, in Azerbaijan?
Yeah, they really made a thing of Max being the bad guy.
Yeah.
And obviously they'd created Ricardo, this white knight of Drive to Survive.
Yeah.
We'll get onto him in a second. But I think they're going to do the same thing between Lando and Oscar.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Because Oscar is, his second year.
Yeah.
He's obviously
pushing.
Very impressive as a driver as well. And Lando's had this he's had to grow with McLaren. It's not necessarily a reflection on him that it's taken him this many years to get to this point. But he's been the one building with the team, and then Oscar swans in. Yeah. And is obviously very good as well. But yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah, and there was the race in Italy where, Oscar, it was a brilliant, brilliant overtake, but because of that overtake, they lost to, I think it was Charles Leclerc who got round them, and is that big, the kind of, McLaren was kind of there at that point, and there was the question of, do we push Lando forward? Do we make Oscar yield to Lando? And no, just go racing. And they did. Yeah. It was brilliant. And, turned out Lando didn't really have much of a chance anyway because Max had such a lead. But they're definitely going to make a thing of that. But yeah, let's talk about, obviously, Verstappen's title win. Is that big news? Kind of.
I think they will make a thing of it because he had that gap for so long where he wasn't winning races. So it was Spain was his last win, and then there was a huge gap where he was struggling a little bit. And then, we also forgot about Perez.
Oh, Perez. So did Red Bull, I think.
I'm so sorry.
Perez, of course.
So maybe because it's only 10 episodes, so maybe they'll go more in on Perez struggling.
And his dad really putting up the fight for him. Do you remember?
Everyone needs to have an advocate.
I totally agree. I'd do that for my son. I don't have a son, but I'd do it. I have a cat. I'd do that for my cat. There was that Instagram post that Papa Perez put out where he was like, I'm going to list all the media outlets that have lied about my son saying that he's leaving Red Bull. And we were all like we kind of looked at each other reading that we kind of reported on that. At that point
rumor,
it was rumor, speculation, which we made sure to define it as. But we were like, oh my God, we're going to be called out by Papa Perez. And then 5 days later, Perez left Red Bull. We were like, but then but since then, Perez has been he will be back in Formula One, or said
Papa Perez.
Papa Perez said Perez will be back in Sergio Perez will be back in Formula One, and then he was maybe Formula E, because then he was Formula E is the next big thing.
Yeah.
Not taking into account that it's not.
But then Checo is like, I'm just going to take 6 months, enjoy my time with my family,
Drink
and
some
we'll
tequila, mate.
see what happens.
Yeah. Like
so
he does good tequila.
Oh, what with Patron?
Patron.
Yeah.
That's a good tequila. We're not because in England we don't have a little bit of a
We're
side
going majorly
conversation,
off
but in
piece
England
to-
we don't have tequila. Like
We do,
but
but
it's
not
not
the
like
same.
a normal thing. It's like gin is huge,
Yeah.
whiskey kinda, but like tequila not
It's
really.
increasing.
It is definitely
Bit of a
increasing.
margarita.
But the first time we went to Vegas, 2023, we drank a lot of tequila, and enough.
You're so
Enough
professional.
tequila. We drank enough tequila. We were hanging out with the Red Bull guys. Drank a bit of tequila. It's lovely. It's
Very
lovely.
nice.
You don't get a hangover. Not that we drank enough to get a hangover, of course. But like, he does a good job. Does Perez?
Drink responsibly. Don't drink and drive.
Get high and
that's
fly.
it.
Don't do that.
Okay.
Don't do that. Don't do that.
Anyway, so yeah, I think they will cover Max's championship win.
They will do. Yeah, because there was like a lot of tension leading up to that, wasn't there? Everything was crumbling for Red Bull. They might have that in the same episode.
Yeah.
Where everything's crumbling, but Max is pushing and pulling his way back up.
Yeah.
And he,
shouting at everyone, and it's really dramatic.
Dramatic drama, yay!
Yeah.
Daniel Ricciardo, that was dramatic. They are definitely because we were talking about this earlier, and you said Daniel Ricciardo, the first driver they focused on. He was almost the face of Drive to Survive. He was the branding.
Yeah.
He had that famous line, "Netflix are country bumpkins,"
And he just very quickly became a fan favorite through it, partly because he was the first driver, but he had has the perfect personality for Drive to Survive.
He does.
Like,
yeah.
He fit that role perfectly with just being himself. So I think people are going to be really upset that he's not going to be in the 8th series if it's confirmed. I'm actually not sure.
8th series? What series is this?
This is 7.
Oh, right. I'm getting so confused.
But a lot of people online were
You think he's going to come back as a pundit?
No, I'm saying I think they'll be sad that he's not in it because he's not a driver anymore.
Yeah.
Oh, but maybe he could be like the next Will Buxton.
Well, Will
on
is
Drive
moving
Survive.
to IndyCar.
Wow. Okay,
So for
okay.
2025, they're not going to have the guy, the narrator. So maybe Daniel Ricciardo can come in and be like, when
That
you
would be
finish
fun.
first, it means you've won the race.
No way.
Yeah, so maybe that role is open.
Yeah.
But there are so many amazing journalists. Like Daniel Ricciardo maybe should just step back from F1, which he has done, granted. And there's so many rumors. Don't listen to the rumors. He's not coming back to F1. He's not. He's done.
Well, you know.
Oh, don't do it.
You never know.
Don't do it.
But loads of people online are basically saying that Netflix are going to give him a better send off than VCarb did.
Oh, totally.
Savage, but
Totally.
true. We all know how the majority of people feel about that. I think what will be interesting is that VCarb came out a little bit after his exit and the backlash and everything, and we're like, he asked us not to say anything. It's not that we didn't want to give him a send off. He wanted it to be low key and not really spoken about. So it'll be interesting to see if that conversation is captured or
Yes.
how it's done. Are they going to try and defend the team, or are they going to lean into what fans are saying and the upset that it was all very hush hush but sad, and we were like, why is everyone crying? He's obviously not coming back.
Yeah.
It was
Well,
a
maybe
whole
this
thing.
leans into the whole kind of teams can't publish their own behind the scenes.
Maybe
Like maybe Drive to Survive, like we said, Daniel Ricciardo was their face of the brand. So maybe they were like, yes, do your small thing, but we're going to take the glory for this. Which
maybe
they'll take a level of glory, obviously, like you said. They're going to give him a send off. They'll do a best bits, won't they? They'll do a best bits.
a
where it's-
montage.
Yeah, slow mo montage.
I love a montage.
Yeah. But that's going to be sad. That is going to be very sad.
Yeah. What's going to be more sad, that or the episode on Hamilton exiting?
Oh, Daniel Ricciardo.
Do you think?
Yeah, because Hamilton's still around. When Hamilton retires, if
Oh.
Drive to Survive is still going in 2027, because I think he's going to retire at the end of 2026.
What? No, we can't. I can't even talk about that right now. I don't have
That is going to be sad.
I don't have the brain capacity to deal with that information.
Fair. Okay. We've talked about Drive to Survive enough. It's going to be great. I'm very much looking forward to it. Again, if you're new to Formula One, new to Drive to Survive, just take it all with a pinch of salt. They do, what do you call it? Like just kind of...
They zhuzh it.
They zhuzh.
They do some clever editing.
Yeah, so just enjoy it as entertainment and then use Drive to Survive as a gateway drug to get into Formula One. And then use Formula One as a gateway drug to get into every other motorsport because it's great. But let's talk about some serious stuff, actually. So this Mohammed Ben Sulayem, FIA president extraordinaire, he has said that for the 2025 season, there is going to be he said maybe, so this isn't confirmed. There's going to be maybe a restructuring of race direction. So multiple race directors, and obviously this comes after 2021, Michael Massey. But there's also potentially going to be changes to how the races are broadcast. And this kind of ties into the swearing, the swearing stuff that we talked about last time. What is going on? Let's talk about the race directors first, because that came out before this news. We've had a bit of drama with race directors. Michael Massey, 2021, Abu Dhabi. Obviously, there was all that drama. He resigned. And then we had Freitas who came in. He left. It's been a whole thing. We had Niels Vitic. I think it's Vitic. Yeah, he came in and he was actually pretty good. Like I didn't really notice any issues, but then he left, and there's been a big rejumbling of power in the FIA. So Ben Sulayem is saying, look, we're going to have multiple race directors, and that's going to kind of take away some of the perceived bias, the alleged bias. He's just kind of fighting this head on, isn't he? And he said there's going to be new blood, for one. So I think Johnny Herbert's out. But yeah, we're going to find out more, he said, in the next few days. But this is a pretty big change.
Don't you think this is going to... Because like a lot of people were complaining about the stewards not being full-time and it being on a rotating basis. Is that not going to just bring up the same complaints that it's not the same, like, uniform throughout the whole season in terms of decisions?
Yes, the question is, has he defined how these three race directors are going to work together? Are they going to be... I can't see all three of them, or however many there are. I don't see them all going to each race.
No.
So yes, you're entirely right. Like, how does that work? Because it's mostly opinion based, isn't it? Like the regulations kind of take us 90% of the way there, and then the last 10% is interpreted. So I don't know. I don't know if I agree with it. But everyone is biased. Yeah. That's the issue. Everyone is biased. So we're always going to have this issue. Maybe 3 race directors is the way. God, it's a lot though, isn't it?
That is a lot.
It's a lot of people.
Maybe it's also to do with how long the season is. Like it's a lot of travel.
That's a good point.
Just races in general. Maybe it's more down to that. Well, partly down to that.
No, that's actually a really good point. That might be it. But I think that's actually the smaller side of the news that's come from Sulayem recently. The big thing is the broadcast changes that he's been talking about. He's saying that he might censor or even just get rid of live team radio. What?
I know. How do I feel about this? I don't feel good about it, Alex. I'll tell you that now.
I don't either.
I just feel like, is the sparing this much of a big deal? I really don't think it is. And I know for the majority of people who are watching on Sky or whatever broadcast they watch on, there's a slight delay and it's bleeped and starred when it comes up.
That's right.
On the TV. So it's like, that's fine. I mean, you can understand what they're probably saying, but it's censored. It's fine. I think if they got rid of that altogether, that is such a huge part of the excitement of a race. You'd miss out on so many little bits of information, like, you know, the driver and the team fighting about if they're going to pit or not, or just like little bits that bring the excitement to a race are over the team radio. And also, one thing that's so kind of real about it is their true reaction to things. They're full of adrenaline. they're getting a bit aggressive. And that's really nice to see and hear, because when they're doing media sessions after a race, it is very PR control. Like, they're very well PR trained.
It's unbelievable, yeah.
So they're very careful with what they say. And they're going to be even more careful now because they'll get heavily penalised if they swear. So
yeah, like what is it? 120,000 euros?
It could be
up to there's like 3 tiers or something. That's the top.
And
tier.
then even maybe banned for a month.
Yeah,
so
insane.
like they're going to be really restricted after the race. Let's just let them have this, please. Come on, let us see some actual true raw emotion and feelings.
Yeah, like you watch football. And they'll be shouting expletives all over the place.
Yeah, they don't have a mic on them though, I suppose.
No, but like, you can still see the mouth move. Like, you can see it.
Yeah.
And then
or
like
fingers moving.
Yeah, exactly. And there's a lot more aggression behind that as well. Like, I think there's been a lot of focus. There's been a lot of attention on the swearing stuff. It is just so not necessary.
I just feel like, unfortunately, like, obviously it's difficult when kids are watching, but that is there in any sport. Like, I've said it before, but take a kid to a football match. They're not going to...
Or a NASCAR race.
Like, it's not going to be pretty at
yeah,
times.
like, after NASCAR, there are, like, punch-ups.
Oh, yeah, and like the football... I was at a match and someone got frog marched out covered in blood. Like, that's not pleasant to see.
Yeah, honestly.
But it's football, so...
Lid's dad, you cannot do that again.
Can't take him anywhere.
Seriously. No, it's crazy. And, you know, Zach Brown talked about this recently. He said there is a delay, and if there is, because there's kind of differing comments on this. Some people are saying some broadcasts don't have a delay. I feel like that's their fault. Like, they should put in a delay. And I personally thought there was a delay, regardless of the broadcast. I thought there was. I might not be right on that.
But then surely then it's down to the viewer's discretion. Like, if you don't want to see or hear swearing, choose a broadcast that suits you.
It depends if you can. It depends if you can,
expensive,
because Sky Sports is so expensive. F1 TV less expensive, but I don't know what the you know, if there's a delay or if they bleep. I don't know. I don't watch it. But I just feel like, okay, don't control the drivers, control the broadcasters.
Yeah.
And then, like, just beep it. Easy.
Yeah.
Easy.
Just
Bleep it, blur the, you know, asterisk it, whatever. But yeah, Zach Brown's kind of saying the same thing. Like, you know, it's because these drivers are mic'd up. They're full of adrenaline. They're putting their lives on the line. You know, we've said this time and time again. They're going to swear.
Yeah, they'll slip up here and there, even if they're probably not even trying to. I mean, there have been instances where it's been a bit overboard. Yuki Tsunoda comes to my mind.
Yeah.
Don't know why.
And, like, you know, Max, the reason he got penalised was because he swore. It was about his car, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was in a press conference, though.
In a press conference, I feel like that is a little different. You can
it's
control yourself a bit more.
Formal setting.
Yeah. So I would agree, like, kind of saying, look, try not to. But if you swear, don't worry. We're not going to retire your car for the season. Like, that's what they're saying at the moment. And that's scary because there's been so much muzzling of F1 drivers over the last few years alone. This is just like another step to control what they're saying. And I don't like the idea of that. Like, no. It's such a grey area, isn't it? Because, like, there was, like, Lewis Hamilton taking the knee. Don't really care about that. Like, if he wants to take the knee, why would it bother me? Like, I don't, like, if he wants to, great. I don't feel like that should be stopped.
Oh, yeah.
Because, like, if you don't agree with it, you just don't agree with it. But, like, the swearing, I understand more, but I still don't think it should be a thing. I think, like we've said, the broadcasters should be in control of that. But, like, how far is the FIA going with this? That's the thing is it, like, we talked about this again, like, we're kind of having the same conversation. It feels like a bit of a power move against Formula One. And the FIA should probably be a little wary of this, because I don't think Formula One needs the FIA anymore.
Yeah.
So they shouldn't go too far, but, you know, whatever. They're trying to bring in more people. That is really where this stems from. They're trying to bring in a younger audience as well. So, well, actually, they are. Give them the kids broadcast.
Great suggestion.
They
Also,
have
those kids were really good.
scarily talented.
Very, very good.
Like I know some people didn't like it, but you're adults.
Yeah, no,
Of course
I
you
thought
don't
they
like
did really well. Like,
Yeah, like I wouldn't watch
far
it, but what? I worried for my job.
me
These
too, a
kids
little
are
bit.
talented as hell.
Yeah, I was like, okay.
Yeah,
Put me to shame.
Yeah, exactly. But I went on Twitter and I saw so many negative comments about these kids. You're adults, guys. Grow up. Don't comment on kids.
No,
Come
that's
on.
just disgraceful.
These kids are ridiculously talented. They're like, what? How old are they? They like range from like 10 years old to 16 or something.
Yeah.
Come on.
Like that.
I was still sucking my thumb when I was. I mean, I
We
wasn't,
should
but I could have been.
You might need to talk to someone.
I need to talk to a therapist very badly. But like, come on, guys. Like, but you know, if kids are watching, maybe they should watch a kids broadcast. That's why else would they have it?
Also, though, I mean, the team radios are already filtered because you don't hear every single team radio.
That's
so
right.
someone is there choosing which ones to do.
Yeah, it's so there's like the main broadcast, like the Formula One output broadcast.
Yeah.
That goes to Sky, it goes to ESPN, it goes to everyone. They decide what's going out.
Yeah.
Like you don't, like you said, you don't hear all the comments. So why aren't they just controlling that? I don't get it. I don't get it. And on that note, thank you so much for watching. Look, this, there's always drama with the FIA, isn't there? It's just something we have to take in hand. Things will change once again, I'm sure, but it's all the fun. It's all the fun of F1. 2025, it's going to be exciting. This week, car launches are starting. Williams, we've got the Williams on Valentine's Day. I'm going to be talking to all of them on the Thursday, which is really exciting. First time I've talked to Carlos Sainz wearing white. So hang around for that. Like I said, F1 Briefings is no more. We are changing to Race for the Win. So watch out for Race for the Win. The logo is bright and neon-y, so you'll see it. That is us. But look, if you can't find Race for the Win, you can find us on Sports Illustrated, you can find us on Newsweek, and you can find us all over the place. We do quite a bit. We get around. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, please like and subscribe. All that kind of stuff. And see you in the next episode.